Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Nicci from Gracie's house. I'm based in England and I'm a brand ambassador for Redesign with Prima. And today I'm working on a set of tables, a nest of tables. So I picked up a couple of sets in my local charity shop, Goodwill, to you guys across the pond. And you must actually think that I've probably only got a couple of transfers in my stash. I've got loads, but I've got some favourites. And can you tell that I'm dreaming of... I hope I haven't lost everybody. I don't know why I had an internet wobble there. I'm really sorry. Don't go anywhere. I hope you've not gone anywhere. I don't think I lost you for too long. Internet says it's okay, and it's not cold, so it's not freezing. So sorry if I lost anyone. So yes, we're working with Lush Floral 1. I've got these three, the set of 3 tables, the nest of tables. I've got Peony is the biggest one. So these are Dixie Belle colours I'm working on here. This is Peony. This is a custom mix of Peony and Pink Champagne. And then this one is Farmhouse Green. So I'm doing 2 of the tables have got, they're going to be layering, and they're going to be a collage of all of the pieces that you can get. And then the big one has got half of the big piece. So if I show you the back, so can you see this is quite a big transfer, and the piece I'm using for the bigger table is half of this flower. So the other half was what I put on the rocking chair for Gracie. So I'm using that at the back. Oh, it didn't lose you. I don't know what's going on with my internet. Please, please, please be patient with me, because everything's showing that my internet is fine and I don't know why it keeps freezing. So I'm really, really sorry. I've got to work with it because I've got no other choice, but I shouldn't have any problems. So I'm gonna just tilt the camera angle down a little bit so that you can see what I'm working on rather than just my face. There we go. So there you can see that the table's a bit better. Hi, Shona. So I'm layering on these smaller 2 and the back one's the bigger piece, like I've just said. So I've got my pieces kind of worked out on the kind of layout that I'm looking for. And I did some with the sunflowers transfer, which was a commission job. And I just really liked the look of them being at the front of the table and kind of giving you like a bouquet at the front of the table. So I'm going to be working with the biggest flower first, and I'm going to add on the extras. The way I work around the edge, because what I don't want to do is I don't want this to be just floating. I want this to sit in the recess, and much like the one at the back here, I want it to be on the edge. So I've got my tool, my transfer tool. I've also got a pair of craft scissors. So really it's just personal preference. See what you prefer and how you prefer to work. This hasn't got a really wavy line, but it's not a straight line. So this is more accentuated, and there's just a small kind of wave here. But I want to put this in this corner. So I'm just going to take the sharpest part of my scissors and run it along the edge. As I said, it's not got much of a wave, but it's not a dead straight line either. So I just want to follow it as best I can. And then that gives you the line that you can cut to. I think I've done all right there. That's kind of... There we go. So if you can see where that's creased, I'm going to cut that. I'm just going to cut that now. How is everybody? Are you getting ready for Christmas? Do you feel like you're ready? Have you got lots of things to do? I feel like I'm partially ready. We got all of Gracie's presents out yesterday to make sure that we're not missing anything. So there we go. So I've cut that corner, and that will now, no, I've not cut that very well at all. Let me try again. There we go. It's always going to happen live, isn't it? This one went fine earlier. I'm going to try with this one. I think the scissors are a little bit too sharp. So I'm just going to move it down. And we'll just trim off a little bit more. You're back. Oh, I really don't know. Do you know what? The internet's been absolutely fine all morning. It's just sod's law that it decides it doesn't want to play right this second. That's better. So there we go. That fits in there perfectly now. So I'm going to get that one stuck down. And I just thought these colours went so beautifully together. So this is the stick that you get in with the transfers, in with the tube. So that's the main tool. And this is the transfer tool that you can buy separately. And I quite often interchange between both. And I really appreciate those of you that are bearing with me in my internet issues. I know it's frustrating. Oh, it's broken. I put too much pressure on that. I'm going to go the other end. That's better. And have you, out of those of watching, who's doing this for a job and who does this for a hobby? And Eve painted yesterday, but they've had all overnight since, I'd say they've been drying since about 3:30. So for those of you in America, I'm 1 o'clock, just after 1 o'clock now. And anywhere else in the world, if you can work backwards or forwards to your time zone. So they've had nearly 24 hours to dry. And that's gone on really nicely. And this is a little tip. I always say this, when I lift my top sheet, I try and do it from all of the different directions, because I've made the mistake a few times of peeling it all back in one way, and then that last little piece isn't quite attached to your furniture and it just curls under, and there is nothing more frustrating. So if you see there, I've done it at both directions. That's lovely. Okay. And then the next one that I've got is this nice big bright pink rose. Hi Helen. Nice of you to pop by. So I'm going to basically do the similar thing. And when you're putting these roses together, you'll notice the ones that are already kind of positioned for you in the big clusters, the way the roses and the way the petals and things face, and I think that's quite important to take note of, because obviously flowers tend to kind of go towards the sun. So if you're going to have them facing up, they all kind of need to face up, or at least in the shape like a bouquet would. It's a bit strange when unless you're having a central piece, then they can go in all the directions. That's maybe just me, but I think sometimes when you're putting stuff together, those things are worth thinking about. Okay, so I'm going to use my tool because it worked better, and I'm going to pop that on there. I don't want to cut too much of this one off, and as this is the smaller of the two tables, I kind of want this to, I don't want this to just have small pieces on. Hi Catherine, you're watching from Buffalo. Cool. I'll be honest, I don't know much about that area. I probably would say that about a lot of areas, in all honesty. So there we go. Definitely go for the tool, or something that's got a smoother end. The scissors were sticking and cutting their own way. Yeah. Okay, so let's get that one stuck on. I'll get the top sheet off. There we go. So I'm really drawn to all the flowers at the moment. I know a lot of the transfers are floral, but I'm quite drawn to these brights. If you were watching I think it was last week's one, I was using a floral and a scripty one. Wondrous floral. But I do like the brights in this one. So one of my projects that I was planning was a friend of mine had given me a high chair, and she hadn't actually dropped it off until last week, and I had this plan to do it really pretty and use the Sweet Lullaby and the two that kind of interchange and match together. And when it came, it's more of a junior chair, you know, the kind of, you know, past a high chair baby age. It's more of a toddler chair. And of course Gracie spotted it, Gracie wants it. So the plan has had to change on that one. I think the internet seems to have settled down now. So yes, I've got to rethink that, but that might well be next week's live. I'm lucky because my slots don't fall on any of the really important days. Over the Christmas period, so I will be maintaining my regular time. So they look nice layered together. And then I've got this other like deep, I just felt like the contrast between the green and the brighter pinks on here made it kind of more rich. And there's so much pink here of the prettier pinks. I just felt that was quite a nice way to go. Okay, so that's that bit. No, I need to trim it, don't I? So I'm gonna, I don't really want to lose the green on that one. Maybe I could do it like that, and then I'm not gonna lose, I've got a little bit of leaf. So I'm gonna go there, I think. So again, I'm using my transfer tool just to create myself a crease that I can cut along. So you see, oops, can you see my creases that I can cut along? Rather than eyeballing it, because they're just such unusual, random, non-straight lines. Last week we had an issue where there was lots of questions being asked, and it seems like there's almost 2 feeds. So be assured that if I haven't answered any questions, it's because I haven't seen them, and I will do my very best. Ros could be answering things for me if anyone's asking. Ros is there. I will do my best to go back and answer anything as well. So don't think I've ignored you. It's just the grand old technology, and we can't quite work out why. I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it. But rest assured, I don't ever ignore anybody. I just haven't seen it. Which is strange because I see people coming on, and then I was really surprised. And I think I saw a question last week, and Ros couldn't see the question I was answering. Very strange things. Sometimes when you're layering, you might have to just rub a little bit more. But I've never had a problem where it's not, you know, it's just a little bit of extra. It's nothing too dramatic. Just missed a little bit there. That's gone on nicely as well. Pretty. I've got one of these lighter pink ones to pop on this one as well. That's, there you go. So I think I'm gonna just tuck a little bit of that down here. I might even use that edge, that's quite handy. See, it's almost straight, just not quite. I just wanted a little bit of the light pink. And I've also got some greenery to pop in here as well. Maybe I should have done that underneath that bit, but never mind. I've done it now. So I've just got my hands on a couple of the new transfers. So I'm thinking next week's little toddler chair might involve that. I might kind of tie it into the colours that I use in my kitchen. That would look really cute. IKEA one, but that's long been quite trashed, as kids do. I think it got left outside as well. Right, so there we go. I'm going to pop a little bit of these greeneries. I think I'm going to kind of have one, I don't know, pop in there. That looks like it's going to fit quite nicely in the look of that leaf, of that flower. And that pop of green against the farmhouse green is quite nice as well. And I've also got just a normal leaf here, one of those, so I might try and tuck that in there somewhere. I'm not sure. And I've got a sprig of something as well. So I think I'm going to, where are my scissors? Let's just cut this down a little bit. And doing them as layers like this is another great way of starting. I think I'm going to pop that there, but I'm just going to trim that little bit off. So let's get my tool. Because you can cut them into smaller sections, which makes it much more manageable, especially if you're new and you're a bit nervous. And my pieces, these are just painted. There's no top coat on these prior to putting the transfers on. The Redesign with Prima transfers do not need to be the paint does not need to be top coated beforehand. Where did I put that? There. Oh, perfect. But obviously they will be top coated afterwards. I think the internet definitely seems to have settled down now, so that's all good. Okay, and then if you just go over all the edges and burnish them again with your fingertip, make sure it's dry, not too, not damp or anything, or sweaty. You just want it to be dry but warmish, because that will just finish off the glue edges and will massively reduce the halo. And then when you top coat, that will practically disappear. So I'm not sure about this extra leaf. I'm not sure where it would fit. It would probably fit there, but I haven't got an edge to cut. I should have put that underneath first, maybe. So I'm going to leave that one for now. So let's go on to, so that's the little table done. There we go. Cute. Let's pop that to one side. Let's do the big one and we'll see how we get on for time, whether we'll get the third one done. So here's the big one. So this is peony, and this is just half of the big section that comes with this transfer. So this is half of that. As I said, I've created my wavy line, semi-wavy line. So this is just going to go on in one big piece. And what I did do is I cut one of the rosebuds off, because I wanted a rosebud for the middle table, because the rosebuds are only on this big piece. I'm just going to stand up to get this positioned correctly. So that fits into there. Can you see that? Okay, let me go. There we go. And these are quite nice, apart from having to sort that line out, which I've shown you is relatively easy to deal with. It's nice that these have got, you know, they're just flat. The way I've chosen to add the transfers to this, but it's still a very, very effective project. You could layer, when I used this on Gracie's jewellery box, I also layered some of the gilded home and nature, very small piece. So you could add pieces of that on as well. I might even do that before they're finished. That might happen. In fact, now I've said it out loud, it's pretty guaranteed to happen. I'm thinking about it. So again, I'm sorry if there's comments coming up, I'm not seeing any, so I think we might have the same problem as last week where they just don't seem to come up in my feed. They seem to come up in someone else's. But I can get to them afterwards. And I just tend to smooth my with my fingers as I'm lifting as well, just in case there's any lift. I much prefer I'm much more confident leaving my paint to dry overnight as well when I'm adding a transfer. Just make sure as you go along that your edges are nice and burnished with your tool, whichever tool you've got, whether it's the plastic one or the wooden one that comes in the transfer tube. Just keep it to hand as you go along. I'm constantly making sure that everything's rubbed down. And be patient. So I'm just making sure that I haven't missed any pieces as I go along. Like I said, keep your tool to hand, keep rubbing as you go. if there's edges as you come along, just keep an eye on those as well. So there, I've just missed that little bit of rose, is not the rosebud leaf. You still don't want to stay, there we go. And you can quite often see when it's all released or not. You'll get used to knowing when it's done the job and when it hasn't. So I'm just peeling from the other angle, like I said, so I don't get left with a piece that curls in on itself. Trust me, there's nothing more frustrating. So again, I'm just going to go over all those edges and just make sure everything's rubbed out. I quite often use just a microfiber cloth as well, a clean one obviously, just to go over those edges. It's nice and smooth, it doesn't lift anything. It allows you to give some sort of even pressure as well. I just bought a pack of these, I think from Amazon or eBay, but I do find that they do a nice job. There we go. So that's that one done. So I can push that to the back, and we're doing pretty well with time. So let's do the middle one as well. We can get this one done too. Okay. So same principle as the small one. We're going to be creating a line, much like the larger posy on the big table. So I just have to remember what order I've done things in. So I'm going to take them off. That's the big flower needs to go on first, but the leaves need to go on before that. So I'm going to put the rosebud and the leaves. These leaves are going to go about here. So let's do those because I want them underneath the big pink flower. Looks like, I think it's like a big dog rose, I think, that one. So that fits nicely onto my curve there. Whoops. Oopsie daisy. That's fine. I think that's going to be covered up with rose. Okay. There we go. And then I'm just going to have the rosebud probably coming from somewhere. We'll sort that out in a bit. I just felt like I wanted a rosebud from the big display. So when you're layering, you do need to think what needs to go under, what else needs to go under first. You need to think what order you're going to be placing your transfers in for the right effect. And then I'm going to have this big one. So that's going to butt up against there, probably like that, and then we can follow lines a little bit. Go into there. I think that's good. So I'm just using that tool again to create my kind of score line, because it's naturally wanting to follow the edge. So just to show you, you can see the score lines on that corner and here. And I got myself a decent set of kind of craft scissors. I've been working with like kitchen size scissors, and it doesn't help with this kind of project. You need to have something with a bit more finesse, for sure. So just double check I'm happy with where it's going to sit, and it fits lovely. Okay. Oh, that was close. Nearly got the rosebud stuck to the underneath. We don't want that. Okay. What do you think? That looks pretty good in that corner, doesn't it? I've got a feeling I'm probably missing any questions or comments, so again, apologies on that, because I'm not seeing anything hardly come through. The finish on this table, the paint finish is nice, but the old, I had to do quite a bit of sanding because there was quite a lot of loose bits of old finish. So it's not, I would say this out of the three tables, the finish is not the smoothest one. So I think that's why it's taking a little bit more time to release on this one. That's not so bad. Going to get my cloth to smooth that one out. Okay, let's go for the next big one. So I've already pre-cut, I haven't actually cut the line, but I pre-cut this big one. And so that was going to be the next one to go along here once I've cut my wobbly edge, and that's going to nearly take up the whole way along, but then we're going to layer other things over the top. So there's less to cut off this one, let's say. concentrate and go quiet when they cut with scissors. I think it's always been like that. I'm going to just stand up for this bigger piece, make sure it goes in the right place. I can line it up. That was my stool making funny noises. One's gone on quite nicely by the feel of it. Got some edges to do still. I think the main flower's gone on quite nice. So this wasn't the project I was planning to do live today at all. I painted a set of bedside tables in a pale pink, and the intention was to add Lush Floral too. And then one of my customers spotted them because I showed them before the transfers, and she decided she's moving house and she's decided she wants them. So I had to rush around and get these prepped for today. So these are a happy accident. Ooh, a little bit missed there. Cloth. What do you think, guys? I'm quite pleased with that. I think that's really pretty. I've got one of these paler pink ones. How are we doing for time? Good, good. Got time. So I'm thinking I'm going to probably pop that here. I'm not going to follow the lines on this one at all. I'm going to pop that so it's facing up a little bit into the corner. Oh, hang on, let me think what I had planned. What was I going to do? I'm going to do that. Maybe layer that more, a bit more over there. And then this one here, I think. So I'm going to put the leaves here. Do you see what I mean? When you've got to think about the order in which you apply things. Because you don't want to be, those stems would look funny if they were coming out of the middle of the rose, for example. I want them coming from underneath the rose. Cloth. place that one. I think we'll go there with that one. Yeah, we need to do this one first. So that's going to go here. That's a really pretty pink in that one. I like that one. What else do we have? I might actually just pop that coming from there, or in there perhaps. What do you think? I think that might look cute. Or in there. There, that looks quite nice. There, I'm going to pop that over there, that bird. I've lost, there it is. Dropped on the floor. It's especially important on these little spindly pieces to just really make sure that you've got everything stuck down. That it's very easy for those little pieces to fold in on themselves if you've not released them from the top paper enough. Last flower, I'm just going to add that one in there. Oops, just moved it. Just check that you're happy with it before you take the paper off. Hi Erin, if you do comment, I probably can't see it. So I'm not ignoring you. I'll catch up with everybody later. I might throw some of these knobbly bobbly bits as well. I might do that extra one as well. We'll see. Just put that. I like the greenery. I like the pop against the pink especially. the greenery really does pop nicely. So I'm just having to rub that little bit harder on the, just where I'm layering. But it's not so bad that you know that you're going to be, your arm's going to be dropping off. That bit doesn't want to go on. I think that's, there we go, that's got it. Should we stick those on as well? Where would I stick them? Where would I stick them? I don't want to just, I might layer them up here. No, that won't look right. That'll look okay. So I'm going to just pop them in there. I like these little knobbly bits. I think they're cute. Stand up for that last bit because it's at the other side. So let me stack them together so that you can see how they're going to look. There we go. Cute, eh? I'm loving these. I hope you've enjoyed watching the process and the difference, you know, the difference of working out on one big piece and just layering up. These are going to get top coated now. I tend to use Dixie Belle satin or flat clear coat. I also use Polyvine, so these will get a clear coat probably this afternoon. It's always good to get your clear coat on, or if you're using wax, as quick as you can after your transfers are done. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'm just going to tilt the camera up a little bit so you can see my face when I say goodbye. So thanks for joining me. As I said, my name's Nicci. I'm from Gracie's house. My page is tagged in the not in the comments, in the description. So if you haven't already, if you want to pop over there and just drop some love on the page, that would be awesome. I really, really appreciate you spending time and watching me. And if you watch on replay, if you can just drop a hashtag replay in the comments. I will catch up with everybody. I'm sorry I couldn't see any. I can see people coming on. I can see you who's watching, but it's not coming through with any comments. So I will catch up with you as soon as I can. Thanks everybody, bye.